The following hedge fund video has been brought to you by the HFG. The hedge fund group provides premium service, along with online training and certification for hedge funds, called the Certified Hedge Fund Professional, also known as the CHP designation.
Hello, this is Richard Wilson, and today we're going to be talking about copywriting and the importance of copywriting for your business. Most people don't know what copywriting is. I'm not speaking about legally copywriting or trademarking something. I'm actually talking about writing copy or writing sales letters. Writing copy is probably one of the most undervalued and overlooked tools that marketing and sales professionals in the hedge fund industry can possibly use. Even in traditional business, sales letter writing and the art of kind of wordsmithing and forming a sales letter is really overlooked and undervalued. And one quote that I like to use is if you look at a $1 bill and a $100 bill, what's the difference? They're both green, they're both on the same size of piece of paper. The difference is the message on the paper makes one worth 100 times more than the other. And if you translate that to the hedge fund industry, what's the difference between your hedge fund marketing materials and the marketing materials of a leading institutional hedge fund manager? The message on the paper. Theirs might be worth $100,000 every time they present it. Yours might be worth $1,000 every time you present it. And the difference is just the message on the paper. Obviously, you can't put the message that you have the highest pedigree team in the world if you don't have them. That's different. But what you can do is write things so they're in their best light, and so it's communicated robustly in a very clear way. And you can do it using some powerful words and patterns and strategies that can really make a huge difference in your marketing. What I've done today is come up with a list of 5. What I have here today is a list of 5 reasons why copywriting for capital raising is very important. 1. The headlines of your letters, your sales letters, the subject lines of your emails, and the first few words of your speeches and communications are most important. Crafting a great headline can take hours to complete, but it can make the difference between being shown to others or never being seen at all. I think that most of the time, if we don't capture somebody's attention right off the bat, you never capture it and you lose them as a potential client. They will never read your marketing materials, they'll never call you or email you, and they just never grow that relationship with you. So headlines and having important headlines that hook people in are very important. 2, many hedge funds, family offices, and private equity groups spend over $20,000 worth of money on their marketing materials every year, yet 95% of these decisions are based on what's always done, what sounds good, what looks good, or what the graphic designer thinks should be done. Now, it's great to have a graphic designer, but they're almost never trained in sales letter writing, they're almost never trained in copywriting, and just because it looks good does not mean it'll be effective. It does not mean it's getting the message across. It does not mean that you're directing the reader to points A, B, C, and D in the order they should be so that the message flows smoothly to them in a way that's going to add a lot of value and increase your relationship. Oftentimes, even all this money is spent on marketing materials, it's often not A/B tested. You don't test 100 email messages with one heading and then 100 other ones with the second one to see what the response rate might be different. And that's something you can definitely do if you work with a copywriter that can help you do that. The next reason why it's important to use copywriting for capital raising is that every investment fund markets itself using emails and investor sales letters. And without copywriting, you may be failing to connect with your audience, and worse than failing at connecting, you may be turning off your audience without even knowing it. So that everybody uses email nowadays, for example, and so everybody can improve the types of emails and the way they write their emails and how powerful those come across to their potential investors or current investors. 4, investment funds of all types are started by successful traders and portfolio managers. Very few are started by marketers or people who are just an expert at marketing and sales. And by this very nature, most of the hedge fund industry overlooks niche marketing practices and copywriting and don't see them as really core to the success of their firm. And I think that's another reason to use it, which brings me to my final point, number 5, the 5th reason why copywriting for capital raising is important is that 99% of your competitors are not using any copywriting best practices or any sales letter writing best practices at all. So that means that if you just invest 10 hours, if you just read 4 books, if you just work with one copywriter one time, the tactics and strategies and skills and lessons and checklists that you're going to pick up on writing good copy and writing strong, solid messages is just going to blow your competitors out of the water, so that when all else equal, you're probably going to grow the relationship instead of them. So I hope these 5 reasons are helpful to you. Just review them real quick. The headlines for your letters can really hook in investors and get people reading your materials. Everyone's busy, so that's important. Number 2, many hedge funds, family offices, and private equity firms spend over $20,000 a year on graphic designers and marketing materials, but usually $0 on copywriters and writing strong messages within your marketing materials. Number 3, every investment fund uses emails and sales letters, so it's definitely relevant. Number 4, investment funds of all types are typically ran by traders and portfolio managers, and that's who they're started by. They're not started by niche marketing experts or sales experts or copywriters, so it's an advantage to have that skill in-house because most people don't. And that leads us to number 5, the tip that 99% of competitors are not using copywriting best practices in any way. So if you can use just 20% of them, you're going to come off much stronger than most of your competitors. So I hope that really helps. It's kind of an introduction to copywriting, why it's important, why you may want to look into using some of these strategies to market your hedge fund. And thanks for joining us. Bye.